Yeah, I think communication's everything in a relationship, and if you don't know how to do it, that's a pretty big red flag. It's definitely not going to end well for either of you. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very just complicated.
Yeah.
When it comes to a relationship, there's so much in my life that I was such a romantic. I said, true love will make it all worth it. And it's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, because if you love each other, and although it's true, love is very powerful. It does not fix everything.
Yes.
And if you can't communicate early on, you're not going to be able to communicate later on. Yeah. Only difference then is you've got a lot of feelings involved and a lot of good memories and experiences, and it's way harder to accept that you're just simply not compatible.
Yeah.
I think we ignore so many just simple signs of compatibility when we're first starting to talk to somebody because of infatuation. Infatuation is blinding, and it's a natural stage in a relationship. It's part of how it goes. It would be weird if it wasn't there.
Do you ever feel like, I know for me, I was very scared because you've had a little bit more experience in like different long-term relationships. So like from your first and second long-term relationship going into your next long-term relationship, like how does that feel for you? Like, is there anything that you like definitely were like, if this happens, I'm not gonna deal with this kind of thing?
Yeah, there definitely are. I mean, if I at any point felt like Brayden was not allowing me to go out and experience life and really just do what I needed to do to be happy, I would have to leave, because I've sacrificed that before, and I've missed out on, honestly, when I look back, I feel like I've missed out on years of my life. And I won't say that I regret it, because those lessons I learned are what made me who I am, and they're part of why I have such a healthy, happy relationship today. I didn't ever really think I would get here in the times that I've experienced, but I am, and I do not think that I would have the knowledge and the wisdom to make my current relationship work the way that I do if I had not been through what I've been through.
So do you take all of these, because I know that they were horrible experiences.
Yeah.
Very traumatizing.
Yeah, many of them.
How do you take them? Like, when you look back, do you take them as lessons? Like, how do you kind of deal with that trauma?
I do absolutely think of them as lessons. I think the biggest thing that it's taken me to really just move forward is, there's forgiveness, and you hear forgiveness, and then you have somebody knocking you out cold, and you wake up and you're bleeding and alone, and you're lost and scared, and then you have somebody tell you to forgive them. Like, I used to get so mad. I said, how dare you? You weren't there. You don't know what I've been through. But as I got older, I'm realizing, like, with forgiveness, the only person it's hurting is you.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're out of it. They're no longer in your life. You are punishing yourself. And every day that you have that unforgiveness, and especially with PTSD, it makes it so much worse. Everything is replayed again and again, and you become angry and hurt and cynical. You become, you don't really want to put good into the world, because you don't think that good has been put into you.
Right, like, and you kind of give up on...
You do, and it just becomes this toxic trait. Yeah. And you don't even realize what's doing it, but it's forgiveness. It's 100%, it's resentment. And it's taken me time. It's definitely taken me time, but through years of meditation and just, like, prayer and trying to understand myself and making peace with what I've been through in life, I've gotten to a point where I've been able to forgive, because... One thing I've realized in life is things happen to us a lot. People are gonna hurt you in life.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, I mostly definitely just take it as a lesson.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just a lesson for you. There's a greater thing to this. Like, if you broke down every single relationship in your life, and you thought about times that they have hurt you, and it hurt your feelings, made you, like, how could they think that about me? How could they not understand me? Like, so many situations where it's a misunderstanding, but when it comes down to it, the way their perception of you and what they're expecting of you and their thoughts and their kind of process, the way that they process life, it's not because of you. It's not that they don't think that they can trust you. It's that there's been somebody in their past that they trusted very much, and they couldn't trust that person, and they got bit in the ass. And it's a learned pathway. It's a neural pathway in the brain that's connecting to tell you that to caution, beware.
To protect yourself.
It's a protection method, and it's 100% scientific. It's what your brain is meant to do, and it's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, it when it comes to PTSD and trauma, you know, that it affects relationships. It can be really hard to move on once you have these experiences. And the biggest thing that's taken me to heal is to sit there and to look at a person and say, they didn't do that because I deserved it. I don't deserve this. I didn't do anything to provoke. This had absolutely nothing to do with me. It had to do with their perception of reality, what they thought was okay, what they thought they could project, all of it. It's so much more than me. It's part of just kind of the universe and life and the cycle of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I 100% agree with you. I have more of an acceptance in that area. I struggle with why did I not know? Why did I not see it? Because
it's hard. It's a hard one.
Yes, and because like I feel like I'm very aware and very smart, and like, and then the other side, it's like I always kind of knew.
Yeah, and you know that's the always knowing. That deep down internal voice, that's what I'm talking about. That's the red flag that you can sense almost immediately, but you push down.
You ignore.
You don't want to believe there's an infatuation. There's something else going on that makes it worth it in that moment, and before you know it, you're in the deep end and you can't swim.
Yes, that's true. What's another one for you? Like what?
Another what? Red flag?
A red flag. Like, what's a red flag in one of your relationships that really broke the camel's back? Like, have you ever been cheated on?
Oh, yeah.
Really? As far as I know, I mean, like, I would consider I was cheated on, but, like, I don't know if, like, it actually happened too. I just rounded up.
Yeah, you know, there's definitely times, there's been relationships where I don't know if I was either. It sounds like it, but... You know, from certain girls that I've heard from, but I don't really know the extent of where it went, if they were messages or, you know, I don't know anything. So there's definitely been a lot of emotional affairs for fact. Yeah. Yes, that's been a big fact. But I mean, I think if we're going to talk about cheating, I mean, I think you can tell. If a guy is really interested in you and really wants you, you can see it in his eyes. You can feel it in his energy. You can hear it. You know, the biggest thing I would say, the way he talks about you. Yeah. Pay attention.
I think actually for men, it's a lot easier to tell if they love somebody.
I think you're right. Women we're difficult.
Yeah.
We're very complicated.
Layered.
Yes.
It's more layers, I think, and like in my experience, I definitely am like, wow, you do love me, and so then but then it's also like kind of hard because when someone's manipulative.
Yeah, I've honestly been like manipulated into loving someone. Like I loved a version of them that didn't exist.
Do you think you created it in your head, or do you think that they?
It was planted. It was very much so planted in my head. But after a certain while, you know, yes, that's also me creating it. It goes both ways. Yeah. But it was definitely, you know, the thing about like a narcissist is they do whatever they can to twist your brain into thinking what you know isn't real and what they know is correct. Yes, and they do a good job. They do a really good job.
Yeah, they really do, honestly. Like, then one day you wake up and you're like, whoa.
One day you just look at them and it's different. And I do think that happens in life. Sometimes it's sooner, sometimes it's later. And that's always the scary thing in a relationship, you know. You're happy and you're so, everything's great. And you're like, oh man, will that feeling come one day?
Because sometimes things do develop over time. But I really feel like mostly within 3 months of being with somebody, I feel like you know if you love them or not.
Yeah. I feel like you can tell pretty early as well.
Yeah, in the beginning, like, you really are more, I don't know, for me, I'm like, more just I feel like I'm a pretty open person. Like, if you ask me a question, like, I'll just answer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very similar. And I love being in a relationship where you can be like that with each other because you learn each other quick, you know? If you talk a lot, you ask a lot of questions, out of nowhere, you're like best friends. It can happen so quick.
And I love learning. Like,
I do too.
It's so fun.
I love learning about someone.
Yeah.
My current boyfriend, he told me he loved me after only 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. I thought he was insane. I didn't have words. I actually just...
You were like, pause.
I didn't speak. And then after like minutes of being silent, I said, thank you.
We've all done. Someone asked me to be their girlfriend. I was like, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Sometimes you're just like
you just freeze.
To speak. Like,
2 weeks. And the thing about it is like the feeling of falling in love. You know when it's happening. You can tell the difference. And I mean, maybe not everyone can, but I can. And like, that feeling was there, and it was right there with him, but just, I couldn't believe that he said it. He broke all rules. He broke all the rules.
Yeah. And I definitely, like, I know for me, like, it was pretty crazy because I would always think about, like, my first boyfriend I ever had, and I've never felt like that until, like, I've been with Lamar. Yeah. And I was so pure. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like that's the most genuine form of who I was.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that way for a long time too. It was really hard for me to let go of that because, but when it comes down to it, I've changed so much. Yeah. The person that I once was, that I would say was pure. That girl doesn't really exist the same anymore, you know?
Well, what is pure? I mean, I'm more saying, like, pure, when I say that, I'm more like, I was more secure in who I was. And I wouldn't change.
Yeah.
Kind of that way. And I was still me in, like, certain situations, but, like, over time, being with different people molded me into somebody I didn't like.
Right.
And then, like, now, being with someone who I love, I'm, like, feel like I'm myself.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I'm completely there with you. I've been in relationships where I didn't know who I was at all, and now I feel like I'm actually. If you find the right love, if you find the right person, you almost come into yourself even more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I agree.
I think you become more confident in who you are, and that really is
safe. You feel
safe.
Yeah,
you do. You feel secure with someone. You can trust them. When they say something to you, you don't just push it off because their words mean something to you. You believe them. You believe them. You respect them. Things completely change.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, like, how was your transition going from a toxic relationship to something that you would also consider healthy? Like, how was that for you?
It's terrifying. And there's really no simple way to say it. It's absolutely terrifying. You know, at any point things could change. At any point this person can snap and be something else, and there's this part of you that expects it at all points. So
PTSD.
It's PTSD, and there's plenty of times, you know, something small happens and I would make it something big and freak out because in the past it would have been, and I would have this just like natural reaction kick in, and it took time, you know, it took a lot of communication, so much communication, and I'm so lucky to have a partner I can be completely honest and raw with about all things in my life, and he hears me and understands me and wants to help. So he makes me believe in myself, and he makes me feel so loved that I have a different sense of confidence.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I feel like it's one weird thing to go through because I know every sense of me wanted to fight it. Yeah. But I was like, I can't, dude. Like, I can't not do this.
Yeah, you kind of have to hold that feeling back, and there's so many points in it that I would just freak out and tell myself it's not happening and it's over and it's happened again, and
because you're so used to somebody like gaslighting you or blowing up at you or like beating you up or whatever.
And my biggest thing was it's honesty and lies and stuff. You know, I've had the same thing many times. I was just naive, and it hurts me because I felt so smart. But
so how do you like overcome that now? Because I know for me it's more of like I hate liars. Like, I would rather have you tell me something that, is probably going to make me upset, but, like, me finding out through a different source or lying and me finding out on my own and done so. It's like, that's horrible to me.
I think I would have said that at a point as well. Mm-hmm. I do think that after a year and a half with my current partner, I've learned that rule can't always just be black and white. It does. There is some gray area because there's intentional lies and then there's.
I'm more talking about like hiding things that I won't like.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is
cheating, I guess.
Are you hiding anything? Do you hide anything that someone would like? I know.
No.
I've got some things in my closet I wouldn't necessarily be happy to show off, and I'm not gonna bring up.
Like.
There was plenty of things.
Okay, well, you're talking more like a broad spectrum.
But but the thinking like that is what helps me in those moments when I'm like, okay, wow, he didn't tell me about having a past way long ago with this girl. Like, why wouldn't he tell me that?
I'm talking more like you're in a relationship and like something happens, like let's say like we're at a party and like. A random girl comes up to him and kisses him on the cheek and like he never tells me.
Oh yeah, we'd be done.
And then you find out from one of our friends.
No, I don't play with that.
That's more what I'm talking about. I mean, like, there's information that's need to know and not need to know.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that can happen sometimes. I've been at parties and just had people kiss me and I'm like, what the fuck? I've had my best friends just make out with me and be like, what the fuck? Like, sometimes you just don't really expect it or know what to do, but I think when it comes down to it, once again, communication is everything. Yeah. And as long as you come home and you say, babe, you're not ready for this one, and you lay the story on them and you fill them in and you are constantly open about it and you're not hiding it, I think that's totally fine. Like, you have to be understanding with each other. Even if there's that part of you that, wants to go kill a bitch,
We've all wanted to do that.
We all have.
Yeah, I think that if it happens, it happens, and then at that point, it's like, I would rather know what's going on, because then I am at my own mercy to make my own decision, rather than kind of like you not telling me and making the decision for myself.
Right. And like that's a really important thing in a relationship, if somebody is like not telling you those little things. Yeah. And it's also a really hard place to get in a relationship, and that's important to note, True. It takes time to be in a good place of communication and being in sync to actually be able to tell somebody that. Yeah. If you tell it to the wrong person, they say, well, why'd she get that impression? Yeah. Why do you think she kissed you? Did you kiss her back? What happened after that? There's certain people that don't really take the news as well. And in those situations, I have had that situation before in a relationship. And I told my ex-boyfriend that, so it was a funny thing, actually. We were at a party, and it was a work party. And I watched my two coworkers that are very, very good friends, both married. Yeah. And we're sitting at the party, and I'm at the table, and I'm with one of them. The other one comes up, and he looks at my friend, and he just gives him a big old kiss. Mm-hmm. And it was adorable, but it just threw me off. I was like, what did I just see? And they're just, yeah, bro, we're grown-ass men. We're proud of our masculinity. We don't give a fuck. We can kiss. Interesting. It doesn't mean anything. And it threw me off, and I was laughing, First probably couple months in Seattle, just getting used to it. Yeah. I'm loving it, but it definitely threw me off, and I was like, what just happened? And they both laughed. Normal, and at the same time, it wasn't very normal, but at the same time, they come to me and they just both kissed me at the same time. They both came in either side and they just kissed me. So we all three kissed. Yeah. And I just sat there like shocked. I was just like, what the fuck just happened to me? And it was funny, and it was like a simple, lighthearted moment that meant absolutely nothing to anyone. I mean, and it's a weird one, but it didn't mean anything. And
I kissed one like a couple years ago. I never told my friend.
It's on camera now.
Yeah, it is. I kissed my best friend. I was so drunk.
Oh my god!
I didn't even remember. I was like, oh, my lips are so soft.
It happens.
But I was like, I'm so happy. I was like, I love you, I love you, I love you. But I felt so guilty. I felt like I cheated. But I was like, I don't even like it's not like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was so happy and excited and very, very drunk.
Yeah.
Very drunk. Like, I've never been that drunk in my life. Ever. It was horrible.
Oh, man. But, yeah, losing control like that can be a dangerous situation.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Cut this out. Yeah. But I have a story to tell you when this is all over.
Okay.
Oh, fuck, Brittany keeps calling me.
Ignore him. We're recording our podcast.
I know, I told him that.
Okay, so let's say, I think that we've kind of touched base on some things that we definitely won't accept in relationships. Miscommunication and being disagreeable, kind of like just being overly involved in something and very excessively, like, I don't really care to see you at all.
Yeah.
Or like once a week kind of thing.
Or say they want to and then never do. When words and actions don't match up. That's a big one. Manipulation, definitely, and it's confusing. For me, I'm just very much a direct person. I have too much anxiety to be like, do you like me? Do you not like me? I'm more like, okay, so do you like me? Or like, are we gonna like work this out and like make this work and like not even make it work, but like, are we gonna like give this a shot like 100%, or are we just gonna like do whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm more definitely like that, and I think that's like why like Lamar and I, he's a lot like that too, and that's why kind of it just works out. It's like 100% or none at all. Yeah, and I think that's a perfect way of saying it, because that's what it should be in a relationship. 100% or nothing. If you actually like somebody and want to be with them, you want to be around them all the time. And I think that for like little me, like young me, I definitely was like, well, they need to be by themselves. Like, I don't need to talk and hang out with them every single day. But I really feel like that's not true. Like, if you love somebody and you click with them, and then like maybe like not in the beginning, but like over time, you should talk to them every single day. Yeah. And you should want to, and they should want to talk to you. I mean, when things happen throughout my day, like my boyfriend is he's my best friend. Yeah. So when things happen, I get excited. I'm like, oh, I can't. Sometimes I'll get too excited and I'll send him a little text. But I try to wait because I love to see the expression. I love to say, wait, what happened? Just wait and hear what happened to me with my coworker today, and watch his reaction. Just kind of, he's in there with me. Yeah. He knows the ins and outs. He knows how I feel about it all. So it's fun, and I think that's really, really an important thing to have in a relationship. You should 100%. Want to talk to them. You should, and even if you don't have something exciting to tell, like to hear about their day. Yeah, I find myself wondering all the time. Yeah, or just like cuddling and watching TV together. Yeah. And, it's just quality time. Like for me, I definitely really, really value my quality time in all my relationships. And yeah, it's definitely my love language. Yeah. Me too. Definitely. So, do you have any last advice for people? Just like I said earlier, like when someone offends you, when someone hurts you, it's a reflection of them, not yourself. And if you take things personally in life, you're gonna be really disappointed. Yeah, people, we don't like think for other people, we think for ourselves. And even if we like to think that we don't do that, it happens naturally. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who maybe does do that? I would say that would be people pleasing, right? Like hardcore. To a certain extent. I mean, it's kind of just being human. Everybody does it. We all get offended. Yeah. We all are going to get hurt. And that's it. Literally, it is going to happen to every one of us multiple times. With every serious relationship in your life, there is going to be a time where you're disappointed, where you're hurt, where you're some way offended. It's going to happen. And it's just a matter of you have to be strong in who you are and have that internal peace and that be grounded enough in everything that you don't get that somebody else's opinion of you or their reaction to something. It doesn't shake you. You're planted. I know what you mean, because that's what I've been working on. Because I am a notorious people pleaser. Yeah. And yes, because I just want to make everyone happy around me. Yeah. And the reactions and outcomes of others does shake me. So if let's say we're at a party and there's somebody who is upset, I will go up to that person and try to make them have a good time. The same way. I think that's part of why we connect so well. We're definitely, but you know, there's a difference with people pleasing and taking care of people. You know,
that's also.
I think we need to do that in life more so than people do.
I love taking care of people.
Yeah,
I love not even like the physical. I don't like the physical parts of it, but I like. Oh, do you have a problem? Like, I could probably help you solve it. Like, and I just feel like it's more because I'm such a good problem solver.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like if I can tell everybody everything that I know, like, and that's kind of why people sometimes maybe take what I say the wrong way. Is like, they're trying to say that I'm telling them what to do, which sometimes maybe sounds like that, but it's more like, I don't know if you know this information.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it, so I'm just trying to tell you, so, like, it's like, you don't have to do, like, all the shit that I went through.
Yeah.
The whole kind of point of this podcast.
Yeah. That's true. I mean,
you know,
that's the thing about life, you know, like, life hacks, like, things like that. Yeah. Like, it's serious. There are things about life that they do not prepare us for.
Oh, 100%.
They do not teach us how to dodge fucking narcissists.
Oh, yeah.
They don't teach us many of things. They don't teach us how to,
like
put yourself first.
Even what
it's
even
the opposite of what we're taught.
Yeah, even what even a healthy relationship even looks like.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because even like
we've got terrible interpretations of our parents and things of sorts.
And it's weird because like the social norms and stuff are so different between generations. So it's like what acceptable in our relationship may not be acceptable to our parents.
Yeah.
And just the behaviors and stuff and like the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just very different. And so I know for me, like, I feel like every child doesn't want to be like their parents. And my dad has definitely said that. He doesn't want to be like his mom.
Yeah, so I've definitely heard that from mine as well.
Yeah.
It's an insult. You're just like your mom. Yeah. Automatic fight.
Yeah. To you?
In my parents, my entire life, observing them. And yes, I would say in my current life as well. Because typically if you're saying that, you're not saying it in a good way.
No.
Like, oh, you remind me of the best quality of your mother. It's a negative, you're just like your mom. Oh. Like, typically one of the things you don't like about your mom, you are now doing, is in the intention that I've normally heard that applied.
Yes. Yeah, I would hate that. I hate being called a mom in general, so... And even being compared to my mom.
It's gonna happen someday.
Not in 10 years. 10 years, maybe more
10?
Sooner for you, Mom.
Girl, I'm like 2 years older than you.
You're 2 years older than me.
Okay, that's not much time at all.
I am not ready. Do you think you're ready to have kids?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I think it's weird how much in the last 2 years, like if I was to think about myself at your age, 25, I just moved here and I was young, wild, and free. About as free as they get. Yeah. I was just dancing by myself in the streets every day of Seattle because nobody cared. Nobody knew me. It was
very much a hippie. I'm here for it. I love that.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I'm definitely the free spirit type. And I absolutely thrive off of that energy. Yeah. So I was having a blast, and then I got kind of in a very serious bad relationship.
Yeah.
And then in a very serious good relationship.
Yeah.
And I see myself calming down a lot. I see myself thinking differently. And I used to always say I'm way too selfish to have kids, but I feel that starting to shift in my life. And I think it's something that just happens as you start getting older.
Yeah, I mean, like... We definitely... Oh, it's okay. We definitely have two different stories. You know, like, for me, the reason why I don't want to have children is because for the last 4 to 6 years, I've been taking care of other people. So, like, I really haven't done anything I wanted to do. It was kind of like I did have children, but they weren't my children.
Yeah.
And so now I'm, like, actually doing what I want to do. Like, I've always wanted to do podcast. I've done YouTube videos since 2009. Like, this is, like, my shit I love to do. And now I've been encouraged to do it. So,
yeah.
And I have, like, no reasons. Just, like, why not? I should do what I want.
You should.
So,
you should follow your heart.
Yeah, and everyone should do that. You know, do whatever you want.
Passions, absolutely.
So for me, like, I mean, like, getting married and that stuff. Oh, 100%. I'll get married tomorrow. I don't give a fuck. I want to get married, but, like, I want to be married for, like, a couple years. Like, really set up that solid foundation, because I don't want to get divorced.
Yeah, and I am definitely there with you.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to date for a while before I get married.
Oh, yeah, and
that's something
so
I
how long
almost
is that?
You know,
how
that's
long
something
is that?
is something I have almost compromised with in the past.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about getting married very quick. I was dating an older guy, and he was just rushed. He was ready to start his life. He didn't have kids yet. He wanted them, and it was kind of like within a year sort of talk, and we were young.
Wow,
and
scary.
It was so scary, but I started getting used to the idea.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work out. It didn't work out. But there's a part of me that does get closer, and I although I do very much want my marriage to work, I feel like figuring that out before the marriage even begins. Like, yes, after marriage, it's good to build before having kids, but I feel like I want the work done before marriage. I want to know the ins and outs of you. I want to I want to see the worst of you multiple times.
It's more like, I'm not going to be in a relationship for, like, maybe more than 2+ years. Like, I feel like after, like, between, like, a year and 2 years, there should be some sort of engagement after a certain age. It's like, you just have so much more experience, and, like, I feel like you know what you want.
Yeah, but all that stuff's expensive. To, like, be ready for engagement, have a ring, to be able to afford all that. Then to be able to start planning a wedding and, like, doing all that stuff is expensive. I feel like that's a decision. I had this idea in my head that marriage would just be, a happy relationship, and just, and it's happening, and there's a ring, and then it's just fairy tale. But, like, when it comes down to it, it's like, you kind of have to be in a financial position to where you know you can afford all of that.
And so that's kind of, like, more what I'm talking about. Like, I want to be with somebody for, like, a long time. Like, I guess, like, what I should also preface is, like,
oh my god. Why does this happen so much?
It's still going. It's okay.
Okay.
I just
Are you
got
sure?
confused. Yeah. I'm not going to spend $10,000 on a wedding. That's ridiculous. Like, I don't even really want to spend, like, $5,000. I mean, you could and you should and you would if you want to, but personally, no, thank you very much.
So it's the one thing my dad always said he'd, like, pay for in my life.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is my sister just kind of eloped and did her thing.
Yeah.
And I'm the only girl, so they never had a big wedding. My parents have always talked about how they're kind of going to live through me for that. And that's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
You don't strike me as a big wedding person. But also, I don't know.
I love throwing a good party.
I get
excited
too,
about the
like,
thought. Think about how fun me and Brayden's wedding would be.
I'm more saying, like, like, at the ceremony, I maybe would want to do something more intimate, and then I would just throw a fucking rager.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of,
like,
I think
buffet,
that's exactly. Yeah.
Hire a DJ.
Oh, we're gonna have DJs.
And, like,
yeah, I think my wedding will be so much fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I want to have something more intimate. Yeah. Like, I've dreamed about a wedding my entire life.
Me
I can't
too.
wait for the father-daughter dance, all of it.
Me
like,
too.
I've had songs picked out my whole life. Like, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I really...
We sound like little girls.
I know, I was just thinking that. No, but it's true, and it's just, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just more like, I just wanted it for so long.
Kitty.
I used to watch Say Yes to the Dress every Friday, and I know, like, exactly, like, what dress I used to want and stuff, so.
I don't actually have that figured out yet.
Well,
because my style has changed quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah. Get up here and mess me. We're friends, even though I'm really allergic to you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you are in a good relationship. And
dude, me too.
Yeah, your boyfriend is really
check
cool.
in sometime. He's a good one. He literally is the most supportive. He's so supportive of everybody. It's not even just me. It's like people he meets. He is a really good guy. Yeah. And I think that's, like, when it comes down to it, the biggest thing we have to search for in someone is it's their heart. Like, what are they like behind closed doors? Like, when you're not there, how do they treat people? How do they react to situations?
So, like, what made you trust him after not being able to trust so many men?
I think it took just deep communication.
Yeah. And
really just getting to know him, to listen to him, and, like, to see the way he is with me. Mm-hmm. You know? It's different. It's like, I'm not dumb enough to think he doesn't look at other girls, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's a man. I understand any human being that we're gonna see.
It's the staring that would bother me. Like, but if you, like...
I agree. There is an extent of disrespect. But regardless, like, I know that's gonna happen. And it's just kind of, that's part of it. But to, like, the way he understands my heart, the way he, like, really just, we've connected, it's so much deeper. Like, I'm so confident in that connection, and I know he will not find that in anyone else.
It's,
like, I know
special.
That. It's like, it feels so,
like,
just, like it was made to be.
Yeah, like, when you're, like, cuddling and having your own time together, and you just feel really safe, and, like...
Yeah.
You don't want it to end.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't have any suspicion that he's texting other girls or, like, anything like that, just because I'm so confident in what we have together, and I know he wouldn't jeopardize that because I know him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's healed me. It's really the integrity of a person. It's their heart, how well you know them. I think the exes that have screwed me over in the past, I never really fully understood them. There was always communication problems, and then things exploded, and I look back, and it's like I can almost see it happening to a certain extent.
Yeah, I talk about that in my first or second episode, how when you look back, there's certain moments where you can kind of pinpoint when it started to go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's certain fights where you should have...
after that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you knew it was done, and
But you didn't know, because you... And I really feel like to kind of sum it up, a lot of this is just based off of experiences.
Yeah, most things in life are, you know.
So do you think it's more healthy to kind of date and find out what you want, rather than kind of just sticking to one person from when you were younger?
You know, that's something, like, when kids get, you know, high school sweethearts.
Yes.
So cute. We all dreamed of an ideal situation.
But I feel like most of those relationships are boring.
I feel like it's just, half the time it's bullshit. I mean, like, yes, you do love that person, and I do think that's 100% possible. You know, like, I'm with the person I'm with now, and I look at him, and I'm lucky, and I don't know how I got so lucky for things to work out the way they did.
Right.
And some people might have that in the first chance, you know? Like, life it's all about statistics. It's not too far-fetched. It could happen. Mm-hmm. It absolutely could, and it does happen. And I've seen it, and it's beautiful. I've also seen it, and I've seen just, there's like a serious state of compromise that typically occurs, because you're growing so much, and it's really hard to have someone grow with you. So a lot of times you start to change yourself and things of sort. I think experience is essential, and if you just are with one person, it almost makes you obsessed with them to an unrealistic degree.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
This idea
of weird obsession, which is one thing for your whole entire life.
Yes, this just fanatic idolization that you believe someone is so much more than they are. Yeah. And I think until you've seen what other people are and how other guys can treat you, and, you know, I'm in no way just talking about sex. Like, I'm talking about, like, that deep, intimate connection. It's different with everybody, you know? You might think this is the best thing ever, but there's better out there. And you would never know that if you didn't experience more.
Yeah, definitely, like, there is a big difference between somebody who, like, just wants something from you and just wants to be in a relationship with you because they don't feel secure, and someone who actually wants to be with you. Like, someone who wants to be with you, like, they'll make sure that they know that.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't be
They do. If you have any questions ever, if you're, like, seriously doubting, one, you need to talk to them.
Yeah.
You need to be open about it, and you need to have a conversation and try to be as honest as you can. And if at the end of that conversation you don't feel like things have changed, that should be your red flag. That should be your breaking point. Yeah.
So that's also kind of what I was asking too, is like, when is it enough to leave without the cheating? Because I know, like, sometimes some women probably are like, I need the cheating and then I'll leave. Otherwise, I feel like I can continuously work on this problem, work on the communication. So it's more like if you don't feel heard.
Yeah. I think if you can't feel like you can actually talk to someone, if you have to go to bed at night questioning your relationship, if you wake up in the morning and you're sitting there just nervous about the stupidest things, like, you know, I think that's when it becomes not good for your mental health.
Yeah.
And it's so important in life, and like so many things can just trip you up and mess up your balance, but it's hard to get back. It's hard to get back when you stumble. So you can't allow someone to affect you to that extent, or it's gonna reach a point of unhealthiness, and you need to walk away.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, good stuff.
Yeah, this was a good talk. This was fun.
Stuff. Good talk. Well, I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Absolutely, I had fun. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, you definitely will be on again.
Oh yeah, and we can talk for days.
As we grow in After Talk, we're doing pretty good right now. Got a steady audience going, so thank you for everyone who's listening. And yeah, I'm excited for these awesome conversations, and I think that you definitely, especially in relationships, have a good perspective and have a lot of like knowledge on that side too. So
lots of wisdom.
Talk about that a little bit later, but right now, guys, we gotta go. I'm tired.
Oh yeah,
we gotta go to work tomorrow. So thank you so much again to Amanda for being on, and